long and short of it is that we'll get into this a little bit later too, so it's not like we're having to repeat anything. We met at IkiCon at the last day of IkiCon, and I asked her to join on the show, and we kept trying, and eventually we made it. So that's the long and short of it. So yes, but to ask the question again, because my dumb ass doesn't know how to do audio, I'd like to begin by, who are you in your own words?
I'm MashaCosplays. Hi, everybody. My name's on the screen. I really, at this point, do so much that I just say I'm a nonsense content creator. I just do ridiculous stuff on the internet at this time. Now, after all this time, I started as a model and then got into cosplaying. And then when I would go on modeling tours, I would like stop at cons and stuff and cosplay there. And then I slowly started getting into just like YouTube, Twitch. So I took a little hiatus, but now I'm back on Twitch. And all the sites you probably are gonna Google afterwards too. I do all of that. So and TikTok, and really it's just me being ridiculous. So I make nonsense content.
You know what? I appreciate that, because it's I feel like, and I'm included when I say this, I feel like too many of us take everything way too seriously. And I find that whenever I don't take my own self so seriously, I find that I'm having a better time. It's just that my brain is the brain of a squirrel, so it's hard to really stop doing that, even though I acknowledge that it's kind of a bad thing to do. But no, I get that though. And yes, I mean, I tend to, my audience, I don't like intentionally target all ages. It's just that's what happened. Most of my content is all ages. But it's one of those things where it's like, I know there are some people. You're right. There's gonna be some people who are like, I'm gonna just open up this incognito tab real quick. Just see what's up. But especially if they're anything like Coach, like. Can we just talk about that for you know Coach, right? The host
yes.
IkiCon?
Yes.
He was acting a fool up there. I was like, "Oh my god."
I loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was one of those things where it was like once he said it, I was like, I'm not surprised that he said it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, what the hell, man?
Right.
But Geek So Ever wants to know that I follow you until you said yes. I mean, maybe the answer would be yes if you mean follow you on Twitter, because that's what I did immediately after I met you. Follow our Only Hands account, a site where you can meet others and throw hands.
Yes, I was at Iki, and I loved it because Kevin, the director, made the little video for IkiCon, and at the end we got to watch it. And then I saw there was a part with me jumping up there and Woody howdy, howdy, and I was like, oh, look at me acting a fool, awesome. I texted Kevin immediately. I was like, send me that clip. I don't think he did. I think I still need to get it. I need to use it on everything.
Right? No, yeah, no. The last few years, well, when I say the last few years, I mean before pandemic. But I'm pretty sure Kevin did all of those in videos, and he's so good at it and so quick. And I don't know how I can barely get one video out per month, and he gets an entire high quality ass video out at the end of the weekend.
He is such a beast, and he'll put things out for Iki, because he did it the Iki video by the end of the weekend, and then also he put out a video from another con that weekend, and he was at the con, and he did a panel, which actually I didn't even know I was going to be a part of. And he texted me and he was like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, IkiCon for me, it was awesome, but the whole time I did not know where I was supposed to be or what I was supposed to do, and everything was just people being like, "Where were you?" And I was like, I never know what's going on in normal things that I organize, let alone here. I am clearly not in the right place right now.
I don't know where I am right now, let alone 6 hours ago.
Right? I was like, what? Clearly not where I was supposed to be.
So it would seem that you are, you know, like you are a model within the cosplay variety and otherwise. And I'm very curious, like, what is it about modeling that lights you up? You know, is there a story to be told of how you kind of decided you wanted to do this, how you entered the community, how you entered the industry? Tell me more about that.
Horrible, but what really lights me up is the payday. No, but I really like turning things into businesses, and I really like turning my interests into businesses. So it just happened to be when I first started modeling and like going on tour and stuff. It just happened to be that that was what I was into at the time, and I was doing a lot of like figure modeling for art classes. That was like my thing. I was like, I'm an artist's muse and I'm amazing. I was like 21. You know, I'm much older now and don't take myself so seriously.
Right.
And I turned that into a business, and then I was like, this is great. What else do I like? And then I was like, oh, I like doing all these other things. And then I was like, I like cosplay. Let's turn that into a business. So I like turning things that I like into businesses and seeing them like profit. And it gives me some kind of like, not in a like money hungry way or anything, but like seeing them profit and knowing that I've built something around something I love, and I measure how well it's doing based on how well it does financially. So yeah, doing all this now, I'm like trying to get into real estate and stuff too. So I'm like, I take my income that I get from each thing that I start a business around and put it into the next business. So I just keep like growing them so I can just build all these things that I like and have them work.
Oh, that's I relate so hard. The difference between me and you is that you're successful at it. I love the idea of monetizing my interests. It's just so fucking hard. And it's like, yeah,
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. And, you know, I don't think people ever realize, like, my 30s, and I've been monetizing my interests since I was, like, in my teens.
Right.
And, you know, you start building a following and start rolling them over into everything. So MashaCosplays as a brand didn't start from zero and become, like, something. I had all these other things that I kept, like, rolling over and rolling over.
Right.
And over, like, 15 years. So it takes a while to get it going, but it's so satisfying when it's going.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like, you know, I can't say that I'm completely unsuccessful. I mean, I have a Patreon with a couple people who decide to toss me some money. That's cool. It's just one of those things where I see some of these people. For example, okay, there was this guy a couple years ago, before it was like 2018, I think. I went to IkiCon, and I was on this panel. They were doing like an event. It was like Hot Ones. You know the show Hot Ones? So
Yeah.
it was like Hot Ones, but it was like we were wearing onesies. So Hot Onesies.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And I was on both of those actually. And
I walked into that panel once.
Oh, you did? Okay. Great.
I remember that because I was like, I don't know what's happening, but this is such a good idea.
Right. And like the first year, guy next to me, Carl Martin, I think. It was just so funny because like on the panel, I was like it was like Teddy Lloyd, I think, and it was Carl Martin. He's like a professional cosplay prop maker, and
Yeah.
then there was there was me, and I was just this like amateur YouTuber, and like it was like, how did you decide you wanted to do this for a career? And then it's like, I haven't yet. It was like, nice flex, but okay. And like it was just this funny little moment where I was like, all right, I see how it is.
Right.
But honestly, it's fine. It's one of those things where like over the years, I think the one thing that I have learned regarding this whole thing is that it's not a race. You know, you just gotta keep doing what you're doing, and you know, the truth of the matter is the stuff that I've made in the last 5-6 years doing like YouTube as a thing, I would not have been able to do something like this 5 years ago. So the fact that I have based on the equipment and the skills and stuff, I have advanced. I'm climbing the mountain. It's just I'm about to fall off.
No.
But,
You just have to cling on to the side.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're 100% right, Geek Five. Being successful is not about just making money, and that's 100% true. Like I felt like a success whenever, in 2014, I went backstage at Anime Matsuri and I took selfies and interviewed Yuri Lowenthal. Like that was like I was way too young to have that level of like prestige in my on my channel, you know. But the fact that I did it, it was just like, okay, this is setting the stage for something massive, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I totally agree. AM is gross, but that's just that's what I'm just telling the truth of what happened there. So but that being said, I am happy that you are making it work, and it's honestly you're killing it. So
Yeah.
fantastic work. So that kind of segues into a pretty good question. What, you know, if you had to name 3 influences that have been like crucial to your development as a performer, as a model, as a streamer, insert blank here, who would they be and why?
Okay, so I think I don't know so much that they're okay. I guess yeah. They do influence me. I do strive to be awesome like these people. One is actually Amaranth. I don't know her at all, but I've been watching like her interviews and stuff and how she is running her business and the brand she's built around herself and how she is achieving her goals outside of that brand and everything she's putting into all of it, and just how she's also investing in a bunch of stuff and putting that information out there on Twitter. Like, that's amazing. She's amazing. Like, I don't know her in person or anything, but just seeing everything she's doing, it's just mind blowing to me. And I could only hope to have that kind of presence and ability to share that much and ability to do the things that she's doing and building. And then another one is Sarela Moray. So she is a YouTuber, and I came across her YouTube when she first started out, and she was learning photography and teaching people how to take selfies, but like with their camera. And she called it the advanced selfie, and she literally rebranded self-portraiture and selfies and packaged it into an online class and got written about in Forbes and sells books on how to take self-portraits of yourself, which in today's world and content creators and stuff, you can't always get a photographer. This is important information, but also like self-portraits have been around forever. Right. So, like, to take something that exists and then, like, rebranding it and building your own brand around it and then selling it and, like, providing this information in a modern way to a bunch of people while also finding success in that, I was just, she just blows my mind. She blows my mind. Who else? That's 2. Who else do I'm sure there's a lot of people I didn't do homework and did not prepare for this one. Those are my 2 big ones. Those are the 2 people that I'm like simping after right now. So, you know, there's that. I guess also on Holly Wolf. I've been really consuming a lot of Holly Wolf's content lately, and seeing how she's built her brand and the different things she does, and how she's now channeling a lot of stuff into her Wolf of the Wild brand, which is based around gardening, which she loves a bunch. And I don't like gardening at all, but let me tell you, she has sold gardening to me. And I followed over from her like modeling cosplay stuff too. And I love the way she's kind of like shifting a little bit, but like not quitting her personal brand and like starting this other thing here. And they do align and they do go together. And it's very impressive.
Huh.
And so, yeah.
Well, you know what? That all 3 of those people sound fantastic. And you know, I would definitely check. I know that I've heard of I haven't heard of the last 2, but I know I've heard of Amaranth, and she's a streamer, correct? You know, like yeah.
She's like the Twitch streamer that gets taken down for her hot tub streams and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
She's got billboards in LA now that say like, "Go follow Amaranth on site that we do not talk about."
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
like that's some really funny marketing plans you have there.
Oh
I love
yeah,
it.
of course. You know, honestly, that's the coolest thing about those big Twitch streamers is the way that they are kind of breaking out of the traditional form of marketing
Yeah.
in ways that you would not normally expect. I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Amaranth, but I knew there was somebody recently I saw that was doing billboards. I was like, you know, I never would have anticipated billboards to make a comeback, but it looks like especially in like the highly densely populated, LA and Burbank and basically anywhere.
Yeah.
You're finding that like it works
Yeah.
more than you would think.
Which is crazy. Like billboards, I don't even see things on billboards. Billboards are like
Go
ignored.
anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't go much places either. But when I do, like when I'm driving to a con, and there's billboards on the sides, and I don't even no idea what all of them. I don't know what any of them are selling to me. Let's be real. I don't know the last time I've noticed something on a billboard.
I keep seeing like, whenever I'll go into Houston and I'll be like, I'll see a billboard. I don't even know where it's at or anything, but it's one that's like I've seen it on and off through my life, and it's just like, do billboards work? This one just did, and I was like, you know what? Touche. That's true. I'll give you that. But and like for example, the one that I think of is back in like 2018 when there was that whole subscribe to PewDiePie thing that was going on, and Mr. Beast bought a billboard and that just said subscribe to PewDiePie, and it was like, I think that's the first one I remember when I'm thinking like, wow, that's actually gonna work, isn't it? But anyway, so what's up?
I want to see the statistics.
Oh yeah, I would love to see like just like one, like if they have like a number, how many people, how many eyes were on it through the course of a week, for example.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really fascinating.
Yeah.
So what's up with pizza rolls?
So think that I've been like a geek for a long time or a weeb for a long time. But actually, like as a kid, I was never allowed to like anything. I mean, my parents weren't horrible or anything, but I couldn't play video games, and like I didn't watch anime, and I didn't get to eat like cool kid snacks and stuff. So literally when I went to college, I bought like every game system I ever wanted. I still have my 64. That's one of the ones I still keep around. And like I started eating junk a ton, all this junk that I couldn't eat when I was like living with my parents. And it wasn't that I was like sheltered. It's weird because my parents are very open about like how the world works and like how people work and all of that. But when it came to like enjoying kid things, I don't know. I think pizza rolls are kid things. Maybe because as a kid I've never had one. And then I had one as an adult and it like changed my life. And so now I always have a bag in the freezer. I eat pizza rolls and snack on them regularly. Sometimes I'll just cook them and then put them in the fridge and eat them cold throughout the week, like cold pizza.
Oh my
like just
god.
little gushers. Like they're so delicious. And it started like people started noticing that I was doing this and then they would talk about it. So I was like, this is a thing. I'm just going to run with this thing. So here we are. I even have a Twitch emote that finally got approved that is like a bunch of pizza rolls. I think they weren't going to approve it at first because it kind of looked like a bunch of pizza rolls having an orgy, but that was not the point. It was supposed to just be a stack of pizza rolls that were cute.
Yeah, I remember watching the ukulele when you were talking about how it hadn't got approved yet, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why would they not approve that?" My damn my damn emote is literally my face. Like if anything is gonna get not approved, it's gonna be that. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Honestly, I dig pizza rolls. I think that they're delicious, and they're the reason why I am fat.
They're so good. They're so good. I wish I had some right now. Ugh.
Oh, so okay, so you seem like you were a very busy person. So what do you ever find time to watch anime these days? And if so, like, what's been catching your eye?
Like watching anime dubbed. I only like watching anime subbed,
That's fair.
which is very disappointing because I don't get to watch it in the background of like, because you have to pay attention because I don't speak Japanese.
Right.
And so I actually had to sit down and watch it, and there's so many episodes of so many things. So I usually end up binging anime all at once, and it's usually when I'm sick. And luckily, I get sick regularly. Not luckily, that's a joke. But I am very busy, and I actually get strep a lot. Which is not cool, but also I get to like binge anime for 2 days. And like I just got over COVID, and so I got to catch up on My Hero and Demon Slayer and all of these things. Which is great. And like the last season of Demon Slayer blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
Not to spoil anything, but I know we've all seen the sexy demon. And I'm waiting for that cosplay to arrive so I can like do this shoot because I can't miss this opportunity. It was amazing.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, I'm one of those people. I can watch it either way. But most often I watch it sub because I'm impatient, and my brain is that of a squirrel, so it's hard to be like, oh, I gotta wait for the dub. Are you kidding me? I'm just gonna. The sub's there. I'm gonna watch it.
My fan, I'm now.
Right, exactly. 877 anime now. Anyway, the I remember back in like 2016, I think I watched I hate that I did this, but I did this. So I watched, like, at the time they were still midway through the dub of Assassination Classroom. And I watched all of the dub that they had available. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna watch the dub week to week now. And then literally 5 seconds later, I'm like, nope, I'm watching the sub. And I watched the sub hadn't even finished, so I watched all of what they had available. And then I was like, okay, I guess I gotta wait week to watch the sub. And then I was like, 5 seconds later, nope, I'm gonna read the rest of the manga. Because the manga had finished. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna pick up where I left off with the anime and watch it. And I
wouldn't be able to do that. Especially going from sub to dub when the voice changes for a character, like my brain cannot process it. It makes me angry.
It's very, very hard to adjust. But when I was reading the manga, I would have in the background, I would have the ending theme songs playing to kind of immerse myself a little bit.
That's awesome.
And then I actively sobbed at the and it was because of that music. It was one of those things where, like, once I finished it, I was like, I am crying right now. So that being said, anytime I read the manga of anything that I'm watching the anime of, I try to do that where I can listen to music from the show.
I love that.
Like whenever I was watching Attack on Titan, and then I picked up the manga of that. I read the rest of the manga set to like the epic compilations on YouTube. Yeah. And it was kind of a one of those 4D experiences, you know? It's like you get a little bit, you're like in the action.
I never thought to do that, and this is like blowing my mind right now.
It works, especially if it's like a like I said, if it's an anime or if it's a manga that has an anime that's currently running or it's been running for a while anyway. For example, like I can't bring myself to read the manga of Demon Slayer, and the reason is because UFO Table or Ufotable, however you say that name, their approach to making anime is so unique that you can't get that same experience in the manga, and because of the fact that the animation is just so good, and it's like compared, there's just no comparison because it's just like it's like gold standard to. Okay, I'll give you some cash. Like, you want some gold standard, you know? Yeah. I've tried reading the manga, and I want to, because I don't want to wait 4 or 5 years to get the ending, but it's not like My Hero Academia, where it's like the anime and manga are closely matched. It's like I said, gold standard versus cash, and it's like either way, it's gonna be good. Yeah, either way,
I just want to see what the manga's like now.
Well, it's not even bad. It's just one of those things where it's like when you see that the last few episodes of the season 2, again, no spoilers, but if you see the last few episodes, it's like that's like amazing, and you're like, yeah. and then you read the manga and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had one anime that you had to watch for the remainder of your life, which would it be?
Oh God. This is hard. You know, I think it would be Hunter x Hunter, but not including the bug people.
Oh, the Chimera Ant?
Yeah,
Okay.
not including that arc because I hated that.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I watched up to I finished I got up to the gala with and that was the last episode I watched. That was a few years ago. I'm meaning to get back into it, but it's just hard to my brain again.
Yeah.
But I have heard that the Chimera Ant arc is very different. So I'm kind of not sure what to expect whenever I get there.
Very different, and I did watch the whole thing, and I didn't not enjoy it.
Right.
I'd happily never see it again.
Okay, that's fair.
It was completely different and like not what I wanted out of the show.
Right.
It was like a different. They should just made a different show.
Right.
You know?
I've always been reluctant to get into that show just because of the fact that even though it's very good and I enjoyed what I have seen of it, it's one of those things where I know going into it that it's never going to end.
Yeah.
And even if he comes back and starts writing the manga again, it's like, what are the chances we're gonna get, another anime? And so it's like the commitment issues. I'm like, why am I gonna commit time to something that I can't get any kind of closure from? But at the same time, I'm like, but you'll enjoy it up until then. So why not? Why not just take it for what it is? It's kind of like
no, I get that, but I would much rather watch something that has like 2 or 3 arcs or seasons and doesn't end than watch something that has like 50.
Perfect segue, because I was gonna say like One Piece. Like One Piece, I'm halfway through One Piece. I am 530 episodes in, something like that.
Hey.
And the only reason that I'm as far as I am is because I will watch it at the gym. Because I will just go to the gym, I'll put it up there, and I'll just play episodes while I'm walking, and it's like distractor. It's the perfect distractor for it, because it's like one of those anime for me that's like you watch it because there's this rubber dude who's never gonna give up on his dreams, and I need to become that guy. So it's like sometimes I'll do that, and it's helped me kind of get through the episodes pretty quick. But then there are some arcs where I'm like, okay, screw the gym, I'm just gonna watch 20 episodes in one sitting at my house.
Go to a gym anymore. I have a home gym now, and I do those like mirror classes, so I'm like actually watching classes, so I can't watch anime now at the gym. But when I was going to the gym, I would do the same thing like on the treadmill, but it's the only way I could watch JoJo. I just really wanted to get into the hype because I felt like I would love the characters, like seeing how people cosplay. But watching the anime, I was like, I cannot get into this anime, and I was like forcing it on myself while I was forcing myself to work out. I was having a hard time.
So here's the thing with JoJo's, okay, and the thing for me with JoJo's, and I know you said that you don't like dubs. Watch the JoJo's dub, because it adds a layer of like this show is meant to be stupid as shit, but it's like stupid as shit in the best possible way. I tried watching the sub. I was like, this is dumb in the worst way. I can't get into this. And then about a year, I think it was like right when the pandemic was beginning, I was like, okay, it's on Netflix. I'm gonna give it another shot with the dub, because most of it takes place in the West anyway, so it makes sense to have a dub. It makes sense. And I was like, this is cheesy, but I can get behind it compared to the Japanese version. And like I have no qualms with anybody who's like, oh, I prefer the sub. That's fine. it's just one of those things where if I had not watched the dub, I would never have gotten through it. And now it's one of my favorite shows.
Maybe piece because I like nonsense content,
right?
And maybe I need to just watch the dub for it, and then I can get behind it.
To be fair, you do have like the you have everything is available on Netflix now with the dub, so it's like it's not like you gotta wait for it. Well, you'll have to wait for like the new episodes. But like for example, this past December I think was when they put out the first 12 episodes of Part 5, and with the dub like day one. Which was like, whoa, that's never happened with Netflix before. Okay, so that being said, same question, but what about video games? I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but I figure I'll let you say.
My favorite, the best video game, if I could only ever play one more video game for the rest of my life, because it is pure gold, is Banjo-Kazooie.
I figured as much. We still have, even though we couldn't do it tonight, I do wanna reschedule that and play that with you. I think that would be really fun.
It will be, and literally, ukulele is making me so mad. It is so hard. It is unreasonably hard. And I'm playing it on my PC, and the controls for the keyboard, like, the camera doesn't shift the way I want it to. I thought it would be more like Banjo, and not as hard. And literally, I quit games all the time. Like, I pretty much quit Cyberpunk and then restarted it to finish it for Twitch. But I didn't like Cyberpunk either. But I'm like this close to quitting ukulele because it's like so hard, but also I've committed, and it was made by the Banjo people. And just like knowing it was made by the Banjo people, like I can't quit it.
That's fair. With ukulele, I got one of those review codes for it back when it first came out for PS. And I played about maybe an hour, 2 hours of it. And it was just like, I'm just not feeling it, you know? And I've always wanted to go back to it because it's like, I like the aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing. The music is great. The visuals are great. It's very bright colors. It distracts my brain. But there's just so much to it. And like you said on the stream the other day, there's no real, here's what you should do. It's just kind of like explore it and figure it out for yourself, which works with some games. But I do not think it works with this game because it's like,
and the worlds are so big, and you know nothing, and there's like no map, and like you know what, like you have to collect those ghosts. I didn't even know that was a thing until I came upon a ghost, and then I was like, okay, so I guess this is a thing I have to do too. And then like you can do a world and then expand the world, but you can't even do everything in the world until you get more things that you learn more things from other worlds.
Right.
And it's like they tried to put too many things into it.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
it just needed to be like a simple like platformer or whatever, where you just go through like Banjo-Kazooie. It's simple.
Right.
You know what you're doing. The levels are smallish.
I was gonna say that it seems like it's very thematically conflicting. There's a lot of the themes that they are trying to say that just conflict becomes this hodgepodge of kind of just an assortment of different ideas.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, I'm gonna finish it, but it's a lot.
Of course. And let me know if it gets like better, because I do, like I said, I have it. I just one of those things where I don't really know, do I want to spend the time on it? Because I think I got to the Frozen world, and that's not to say Frozen as in the movie, but for the that's what I did. the snow world, and it was like I was digging it, but it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Am I even on the right track? But
that's what I'm on the Frozen world right now, and one of the things they're like, one of the what's it called? Moves that you can learn is like you can like lick something or eat something and you get that power. So like you can now eat the fire and you get fire power and you can walk through fire if you're in fire power, or like you can lick honey. And I'm like, okay, what does this do for me? I have no idea. And then I'm running around and realize, oh, I can walk up the icy slopes. Like that makes sense. Honey's sticky. Also, why is there a beehive in the middle of the glacier? So like, and what am I supposed to do with it? I don't get it.
The regarding Banjo though, I was gonna mention, okay, so this was back in like 2013, 2014. I knew a guy who would like we hosted one because Pixcelation as it is now, what used to be like a media outlet, kind of like indie IGN kind of writes articles, and we would do all that. And so we would host some videos that we thought were really cool. One of them was a musical walkthrough for the first level of Banjo-Kazooie. It was basically like somebody took the theme song, dun 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 dun, and like put lyrics to it to how you beat the level. And I was like, that's such a cool idea, and I would love to do that like for more games, But yeah. It was a cool little side thing that he did.
Super cool. Oh, I like that. Speaking of the Banjo-Kazooie music, they repurposed a lot of sounds for ukulele.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they already owned the rights to those sounds, but let me tell you, the budget on new music must have been really small.
Well, the people who did the music for ukulele were the same as the people who did the music for Banjo-Kazooie, and like they're on the team now apparently, and so I would not be surprised if they just were like, oh yeah, I have a folder full of old sound effects, let's just use those.
Yep.
Okay, so here's a question. So it's the zombie apocalypse. What's your survival strategy? How long do you think you survive?
I want to say this is hilarious because I obviously have a zombie survival strategy. And second off, I've made friends with like a new person, and we're just getting to know each other, figuring out if either of us are weird. And she stopped by the house because she was in the area, and we hung out in my hot tub and drank some wine. And she was like, so I'm a bit of a doomsday prepper. And I was like, solid, let me tell you about my zombie apocalypse plan. And I was not expecting that question at all, but it's very funny because I literally had this conversation last night. So my zombie apocalypse plan is I read an article once that zombies would really start dying off after like a couple of weeks, because once the initial zombie apocalypse happens and they eat all the people that survive are going to go into hiding, and yeah, some people are still going to get eaten, but ultimately zombies are going to starve. Right. And then you don't have to worry about zombies. It's really just going to be humans that are horrible. So that already removes the zombie aspect if you can get through like the first 2 weeks to a month, which I am very good at surviving on nothing. So I could just hunker down into my house and be fine. And then my plan is I live on the side of Houston I live on. There's not much over here. So I know I would have to drive all through Houston to like escape and get into, the US. So I'm not going to do that. We'll go down the coast. My parents have a place down in a little coastal bay town in the middle of nowhere. There's literally 10 houses in this town. So I will go down and stay there and let humanity figure out what its new neutral is, which I expect to be on the more negative side. I don't expect humanity's neutral to be good. But I want it to settle so we can all know what it is.
Right.
And then my parents actually have a property out in the hill country, and it's behind a giant ranch that's like 10,000 acres. And then it's their little piece behind it. And it has, I know how to hunt, I know how to fish, I know how to all of that. I'm trying to learn how to garden and stuff. My mom has how to garden there, but she hasn't been keeping it up. And it has natural spring-fed water. All the water there is natural, like from the springs. Obviously, water's natural. I don't know why I said that like twice. But spring-fed water, clean water. So I just need to get there and not go through any of the cities from the coast. And then I will just hunker down there. And that's also in a tiny, tiny town. And I'll probably loot anything along the way for any sort of things that I might need long-term there, though I don't expect much because my dad's got guns stockpiled, generic Texas, like, armory stocked. Let's go. He's got it. So I know I can survive for a good while protecting myself.
Damn. You know what? I never once thought about the possibility of zombies dying off. I think it's because I'm so indoctrinated with the Walking Dead lore that like I see where they're coming from with the fact that they're already dead. Why would they die? But it's like living creatures I don't care if they're decaying. They're still animated, and so then they need energy somehow. So yeah,
and they're continually. So the idea of zombies, right, is that they're decaying, and they can't decay indefinitely. They have to.
Yeah. Eventually, the legs will like become too weak to hold up the body, so they'll like, collapse.
Exactly, especially if they're no longer able to find humans to eat. So they will die off.
Right.
So really, the problem is if you survive that, the problem is the new normal of humanity.
Which I mean, as we've seen from 2020 on, I don't trust anyone. We would have look. I don't like to get super serious in these things, but we would have people who were like, I don't believe the zombies exist. Hey, I think that guy is just homeless. And like, I know that's like something that I would not say personally, but you know, there were people who would say that. And it would be like, the hell are you doing? Get out of the way of the biting person.
Right.
But that being said, you know what? I'm glad that you're prepared. I have a plan that I always whenever I ask this question, I always explain it. So I'm low key. I'm basically saying if it happens anytime soon, meet me at this place. But okay, so you have you been to Austin? You know, you're aware of the area.
Yeah.
So the Arboretum. You know where the Arboretum is? I would claim the Arboretum for myself. Because if you remember, there's that little alcove. It's basically an enclosed kind of a half circle where there's like the hotel and there's restaurants and bookstores and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where I'm like, if we could get some snipers up on top of those that gigantic hotel, we could probably house like 500 people in the hotel, and they would be like, all right, let's go.
You need some people for that plan. You got to start collecting your doomsday team.
Oh yeah. And that's why like this podcast. It's like if people watch it, they're gonna be like, if it happens, they're gonna be like, oh wait, I remember that one pasty white guy was talking about going to Barnes and Noble in the Arboretum.
Right.
Okay. So one more question. Have you ever heard of Chuck Klosterman's 23 questions?
No.
Okay, so basically, I pick one of these questions. They're basically, kind of moral quandaries, kind of scenario-based questions that they were compiled in like a book, I think, called 23 Questions to ask someone to know if you can love them or something like that. It's like it's very very interesting kind of scenario questions. Like I said, I pick one because I think they're fun. I think they're fun. That's basically the only answer I have for that. But this one I picked for you.
Okay.
You are sitting in an empty bar in a town you've never before visited, drinking Bacardi with a soft-spoken acquaintance you barely know. After an hour, a third individual walks into the tavern and sits by himself, and you ask your acquaintance who the new man is. Be careful of that guy, you are told. He's a man with a past. A few minutes later, a fourth person enters the bar. He also sits alone. You ask your acquaintance who this new individual is. Be careful of that guy too, he says. He's a man with no past. Which of these two people do you trust less?
I get. Which of the two people that just came in, not including my acquaintance?
Yeah. So the man with a past or man with no past?
Okay. The man with no past. How is that possible? I don't know. I think it's pretty fishy if you have no past.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
At least with a past, you have an opportunity to experience things and learn and develop as a person.
True enough.
With no past, you either... The only thing I can think of somebody with no past is, like, they haven't experienced anything at all. Maybe they're, like, closed-minded, or they're an alien.
I would think something more like someone like in the witness protection program, someone who like has a past, but like they have no past.
Erased. Yeah.
Or like someone in a soap opera who got amnesia and doesn't remember.
I don't know. The no pass thing is weird.
That's fair. That's fair.
What I would want to know is it just that nobody else knows this person's past? Like, do they know their own past?
That's a good question. And honestly, I've found that with these questions, there's always that caveat. There's always something you can dig into and be like, well, wait, hold on, what about this?
And also, why should I trust this acquaintance that I met?
Right, because after all, it says you barely know him as well. So
exactly. That's why I was like, wait, out of the two people in the bar, which one do I trust? Because ultimately, I would trust the person talking to me the least.
Right. Yeah. Especially since it's like, how do you know them? Jeez.
Right. What do you know? What are you trying to get out of me?
Okay, so I lied. I actually have one more question for you.
Okay.
And this is less quandary-ific.
Okay.
I think this might be the most important question I could ask. You're pouring a bowl of cereal for yourself. What's the cereal?
So I don't eat cereal.
You don't eat cereal.
And I don't drink milk. So I would have to go with Cookie Crisp because it's just a box of cookies.
No, that's I totally get that. Like, I don't know why our parents let us eat that shit as a kid, because it's like, it's basically just cookies. It's
just cookies for breakfast, just small cookies.
It's like, I used to love eating it, but it's like, looking back at it, it's like, that's the reason I'm fat, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, so that clears that up, because I was gonna ask also, what kind of milk do you drink? But you just said you don't drink milk. So, you know, that's fine.
Is it fine?
I mean, you know, some people would say that dairy milk is terrible for you, and they would probably be right. But I mean, I'm already a lost cause. I can't really help that much. So,
I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, and I'm not willing to take the risk for milk.
Right.
But I am willing to take the risk for some fancy cheeses, and I do regularly.
So you do hate yourself just a little bit.
Just a little, something about it happened when I hit a certain age too. Is when I started. My palate decided it liked fancy cheeses, and my body never agreed with that. But my palate wins.
I recently started drinking. I stopped buying the traditional milk and started buying the carton of like the Moo Life or whatever it's called, like the HEB, the ultra pasteurized. And I'm like, I don't know if it's any better for you or worse for you, but I'm like, I'm gonna pretend like it's good for me and just keep drinking it. Right at the tail end, we have MaxPod coming into the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you. So as a last little thing, I'm gonna give the floor to you. If you want to like to tell anybody who's watching this on YouTube or on Twitch where they can find you, you know what you got going on in your life, you have the floor.
First off, this was awesome. Thank you for inviting me to be on this. We're gonna play some Banjo-Kazooie next time.
Oh, of course.
Not next stream, but next time I'm here.
Right.
Where you can find me, so I'm MashaCosplays on literally all platforms. All of the socials are MashaCosplays. I also have my Masha Models brand. If you want to learn about the industry as a content creator, freelancer, spicy creator, modeling in general, working with photographers, all of that, taxes. I do have a YouTube channel that is Masha Models. It's less nonsense content, more let me teach you something content, because I have been doing this forever and have things to teach. But otherwise, yeah, I'm MashaCosplays everywhere. If you want to see me go be ridiculous and like 60% of the time be in cosplay, go check it out. I'm playing ukulele on Twitch right now. By the time this is on YouTube, I'm sure I will still be playing ukulele because it is the hardest game ever.
Oh yeah.
I will be playing it for the next 6 months at least.
Oh, that works. The I know I mentioned it briefly in the chat the other day, but are you planning on being at Comicpalooza this year?
Yes. I just oh,
go ahead.
Oh no, I don't know if Comicpalooza is 2 days again or 3 days.
I think it's 3 this year.
It is? Okay. Last year really messed me up and I did not like it.
Oh yeah. Well, reason I bring it up is because I just put in my panels for that. So I'm really hyped because I'm like I actually asked them on Twitter. I was hoping that they would reply, but they haven't yet. If they were going to put panels in the dealer's hall again, or if they were going to put panels in their own rooms, because last year, like, I think it was interesting to do panels in the dealer's hall, but it's just not. I'm not used to that.
It didn't make sense because, from what I heard, the choice to do that was because of COVID.
Right.
So they didn't want to spread all over the George R. Brown. So instead, they put every single person in one room, and which is to me completely illogical. But it doesn't matter. I'm not running it. Right. It's not my convention. But I also had a panel there last year, and it was so hard to do the panel because everybody was walking around you. It was so distracting. I'm not sure people could hear me, even if they were sitting in front. I couldn't hear people when they asked questions. I couldn't hear myself think. Right. Luckily, I had a PowerPoint that I just, like, followed because I was like, there is so much happening.
If you, like, in my case, you know, I use a lot of audio in my panels because I show a lot of openings and stuff like that, and that was the hardest thing to do because like you can't hear anything, and like the idea was like kind of interesting to me because I was like, maybe I can like kind of go fishing and pull some people in because, you know, I'm still, you know, in the building phase, and so it'd be like, oh hey, come on, come sit down, come watch my panel, but like if there ain't nothing to watch, then or if there ain't nothing to hear, and it was also kind of messed up because a friend of mine was there with me, and I think it was my last panel. It was on Sunday. I had a clip from an anime where there was a sound effect of a rapid fire gunshot, and my friend texted me. He's like, "Hey, you should probably not play the rapid fire gunshot sound effect in a crowd of people." And I was like, you know, you're probably right. Apparently some of the cops were like got like alert, and then they realized it wasn't anything, and they were like, okay. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't even think about that until after it was over, and I was like, damn.
Well, I didn't even know that was going to be the scenario because it was the same weekend as Delta HCon last year, and I had like 6 panels at Delta HCon. And so I had to like Uber over to Comic Palooza to do my panel. I hadn't even been at Comic Palooza that weekend yet. It was like Saturday. And I walked in and I was just like,
what the hell?
What am I doing? What's happening?
But yeah, no, I'm excited because it's like, as of now, I mean, I think if all goes well, we will have other cons in Austin and stuff this year. But like, as of now, my first con of the year is in freaking July, and I don't know how to handle that. Normally, I would have a con in May, I'd have one in July, I'd have one in August, I'd have one in September and December, but it's like, as it stands, it looks like the only ones I'm going to be at are Comic Palooza, maybe, if they accept me, and IkiCon at the end of the year, unless, you know, other ones start popping back up.
Also Con South.
That's also an idea. If we end up,
so good. It's so good.
I'm always reluctant to go because it's like water parks. Like I have not been to a water park since I was like 12, and it's just kind of this like weird little scenario, I guess.
To be fair, if you go to ColossalCon South and you're like not a water park person, you don't have to go to the water park.
Oh, okay, so it's not the whole thing.
They have a convention center, so it's like a hotel, and the hotel is shaped like this, like a V. And off the hotel over here is a huge arcade. And then all the way through the rest of everything is the water park.
Okay.
And it's at a time of year when the outside water park is closed anyways.
Right.
And then on this side of the V, there's a convention center. So they're not even close to each other.
It's surprisingly like I lived over in Round Rock for a year, and I never made it over there once. And like, cause I know that there's like the arcade and there's like a whole bunch of like fun stuff to do over there. I just never went. I need to change that.
You come and then you can hang out with me and It's Mag's Pie.
Of course.
Crew, the crustacean crew.
Oh yeah. Honestly, that sounds fun. And if it turns out that, you know, most of my stomping ground doesn't come back, you know, because you know this is probably the first year that it's viable after COVID, or in the midst of it anyway. Then I will definitely add that to my list because I actually am very curious. So Okay, well, I will not keep you any longer than I need to. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for making the time for me.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This was awesome.
Absolutely. And go check out MashaCosplays. And if you're new to the stream, follow me on Twitter or on Twitch, YouTube, all that jazz. I will probably be back tomorrow night with something. Final Fantasy 13 2, maybe. I was supposed to interview Kieran Strange. We ended up putting that off until April. But tomorrow I still want to stream, so I'll probably do some 13 2, maybe Clone Hero or something. I don't know. We'll stream something. But until then, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one. This has been Pixcelation, reminding you all to stay pixelated, and I'll see you.